Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Tats. I am here with Donald, and we are pissed off. This has been probably one of the roughest stretches that the Yankees have gone in years. And even though the last few years have been absolutely failures, when they got us all going in the beginning of the year that this was going to be the year everything was starting to click with this group of players, and then you get this stretch that we've had over the last couple of months. This is just it's sickening. Donald, I don't know if you were watching, but I was able to watch a little bit yesterday, and they showed this graphic on the Yes Network that as of, I think it was May 15th, with the win percentages in the AL East, Baltimore would be in first place ahead of the Yankees. And I'm like, that is just absolutely pathetic. And not to degrade the talent that they have on that team, when you look at how this Yankee team had started and where they are now, it's which team is the real team? Is this what we're going to be getting for the rest of the year, or can they go back to being that team that they were? That's been the biggest question that a lot of us fans have found ourselves asking. This like the Slim Shady line. Will the real Yankees please stand up? Because this is just absolutely pathetic and unacceptable.
So are you asking which is the real Yankee team?
Yeah. Which team do you think is the real team?
So I think the answer is a bit of both, but I'd say more the former rather than the latter. I think this is closer to what the Yankees are rather than because let's be honest, I think most Yankee fans didn't have the highest expectations going into this year. It was an odd off season. I think the moves that they chose to make were decidedly underwhelming. I was completely against inheriting $50 million worth of Donaldson's salary, considering I felt like he was on the decline for the last year or two prior to us trading for him. So I felt that was a poor use of resource. I felt that IKF was a stopgap and a utility shortstop, but I felt we already had that already in Gio Urshela, who's a third baseman playing shortstop, and so was IKF. So I felt the moves were negligible. I felt that trusting Gallo would blow up in their face, and it did. And, nothing really surprised me. I guess what surprised me the most was how good the Yankees were to start the year. They completely blew me away. They were fantastic. It was a difficult situation that Boone inherited because he had 10 position players for 9 spots, and he was doing his best to maneuver them. And I felt like he was doing pretty well. But since I guess you saw signs prior to the All-Star break. I was certainly seeing signs when we got no hit by the Astros. I felt once we got no hit by the Astros, the red flags were really showing up there. And then since then, it's been quite a spectacular decline. And now since the All-Star break, after Cashman made a series of moves, which I agree with, I liked all his trades. I'm not going to sit here and play Monday morning quarterback and say, oh, we shouldn't have traded for Montas and all that stuff, because everybody was wanting us to get Montas. Especially when Castillo was off the board, it was like, oh, Montas or bust. So we got Montas. I'm surprised at how badly he started. We're going to get into that as the show goes on. No doubt about it. But the original question is, which is the real team? I think it's more this one because the flaws, the red flags, which I saw prior going into this year, are starting to show now. Again, I just don't think that we have a reliable closer. I don't think we have any protection for Aaron Judge outside of Stanton, and Stanton's hurt. That's been a pervasive issue going into the rest of this year. And, I think the Yankees can only score one way, and that's by hitting a home run. If they don't hit a home run, then they struggle to score at all or put together any kind of number of hits. So any kind of deficit is almost impossible to come back from now because of the way that the Yankees played their game they don't just chip away anymore. It has to just be a home run. So it's a difficult way to win, and the Yankees are showing that. So I just think that it's a little bit of both. I think we're going to see a better version of the Yankees in September, and I'm sure they're going to be more competitive in October. But is this really a strategy that's going to win them a championship? I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I think it's when you look at the way they went into the season, very half-hearted. It was almost like they wanted to make changes, but they held back on making the right changes because they were investing into their future by holding on to some of the prospects. And then come the trade deadline, it was the same thing. They could have gotten Castillo, but we can't move our prospects. We can't trade the future for today. And part of that I understood. I was behind it. I get it. When you have the prospects that we have that are so highly regarded, yeah, you hold back on moving those people and those players unless it was absolutely necessary. Well, I think looking back, I'm starting to think we should have bit the bullet and made the move, and gotten rid of a couple of those guys for a guy like Castillo, because Montas has not been able to come here and go and say, all right, this was the fix that we needed. Now we have somebody solid behind Cole. Montgomery has better numbers since the trade than Montas. Montgomery with a team that's not competing, that has low expectations, which could be a part of it, is now pitching to he's 3-0, I think, with a 0.5 ERA. So when you're looking at the pitcher we took away and the pitcher we added, it's starting to go. It feels like it's a little sour.
You get the second choice pitcher, you get second choice results, and that's kind of what we found. Castillo is a much better pitcher than Montas. He's an ace, and Montas is a 2 or a 3. Castillo has several ways of getting you out, and I think Montas needs his splitter to work off his fastball to get you out. His stuff hasn't been great since coming here. It's a completely different scenario when you're pitching Yankee Stadium as opposed to the Oakland Coliseum. The Oakland Coliseum is the size of the freaking Coliseum in Rome, for God's sake. It's huge. It's very difficult to get the ball out of that park, and it certainly helped Montas's numbers because on the road his ERA is around about 5. Now, do I think that he's going to turn this around and become the kind of pitcher that he is? Yeah, I think he will. I think I wanted us to trade for him, so I still have faith in him. It's really difficult to make a judgment after 3 starts. CC Sabathia, when he first got here, didn't have the greatest numbers after 3 or 4 starts. It takes time. I think next year, Montas is going to be really good for us. But in the meantime, when we really need him next year. In the meantime, when we really need him right now, I'm not quite sure what pitcher we're going to get.
And the other thing with the pitching, because I do want to spend time on Cabrera to celebrate his hit, but I want to get the frustrations out of the way and then we'll enjoy it. But why do we keep throwing Abreu out on that mound? Enough. We have seen enough. He does not have it. He does not. He may have the velocity. He cannot put it together in a major league game. Get rid of him. We have a guy named Schmidt down there that you don't know what you want to do with. Just switch roles. Send Abreu back down. Actually, you got to DFA him. You can't even send him down. And get Schmidt up here to eat some innings because we cannot sustain this anymore. He sucks. He sucks.
Oh, man. Yeah, he does.
It's terrible. I can't watch it anymore, Donald. This is ridiculous. As soon as he came in, you almost saw that that was the exact result that was going to happen. Anybody that thought that he was going to come in and hold the score where it was, I
kidding yourself.
As one of the most optimistic Yankee fans that I know in myself, if you had more optimism than me, then God bless you.
Yeah, listen, there's a reason why Abreu's been DFA'd multiple times already by multiple organizations. Um, there's a reason why we got him back for nothing because he was DFA'd after we traded him. So I'm not quite sure what the Yankees' fascination with Abreu is. And it's quite ridiculous. I mean, what I would do is I would certainly DFA him. He's probably going to pass through waivers. No team's going to want him, and if they do, then God, God bless you. But he'll probably come back to the Yankees once he clears waivers, and you got him as a possibility coming out of AAA in that case. But I would definitely call up Clark Schmidt. I would have Clark Schmidt as our fifth starter, and I would have Herman off the out of the bullpen and as a long reliever. I think it would work a lot better. But once again, this is what we've been talking about. The Yankees don't really have a plan for their prospects, and they never really have. So that's why this Castillo issue is an issue. When you're a team that's competing for a championship, you have to decide on which direction you want to go. Am I a team that wants to build for the future? In which case, you hold on to all your prospects. But then you need to have a plan for them. Or am I a team that's going all in for a championship? And in which case, then these prospects have to become available. I mean, the Mariners had no problem giving up 3 of their top 5 prospects in order to get Castillo to make them a team that can have a run at a championship. And that's what I think the Yankees have is a muddled philosophy. They kind of do both. They're like, we want to win a championship, but we're not going to go all in on a championship because we also want to build for the future. And that's fine, but you also have to have a plan for these prospects. And that's where Brian Cashman's big failing is. He doesn't really have a plan. Had he given Peraza a chance to be our shortstop, to share time with IKF, then you'd have a plan. And then you would understand it, not having Peraza part of any trade deal with Castillo. Yeah, same with Volpe. You're seeing the Mets, you're seeing the bunch of teams that are giving their prospects a chance. The Yankees don't do it until they've been absolutely forced, basically a gunpoint, which they did the other day, giving these guys I really wanted a chance. Florial, Cabrera, all this should have been done long before they've done it now.
Yeah, you brought up something very, very interesting, and if Volpe was your future, right, what would it have hurt to just start one of these kids, right from the get-go this year? Not Volpe. Why couldn't you bring up a Peraza or a Cabrera if they weren't your number one? That wasn't your first plan for shortstop. What would it have hurt? Because worst comes to worst, you still have, you would still, you hope that you would still have, and this is without making the trade for IKF, which means we wouldn't have Donaldson and all that. So you could always slide, Gio over to short. He wasn't, an all-star shortstop, but he was serviceable.
Better than IKF.
Yeah. And in the beginning, in the offseason, we had thought that, actually, we even brought it up last season, that we thought IKF would be a good complement to the infield as a utility guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So, people could go and pull receipts that IKF was a guy that was on our radar. Yeah, he was, but not as an everyday shortstop.
Exactly. That's it. He's a utility guy that we're asking to play every single day.
There's a reason why he's not getting, that there's 2 games in a row. He's not, he's out of position now, and you have these kids that you have all this faith in, all this trust that they're gonna be our future. Well, the future's passing you by, Cashman. The future moves. You got to read the room. You really do.
Well, you need to choose direction. You can't do both.
You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what he's doing, and it's frustrating. I don't remember the last time I actually was this aggravated. With this team, I really can't.
He's doing both at the same time, and it never works. No, it doesn't work. You have to choose a direction. If the Yankees really are all in on winning a World Series, then you don't make the moves that they made. You just simply don't. The moves that they made at the start of the year and the moves that they didn't make in terms of Castillo, it doesn't really scream to me that they're all in on a championship. And it's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste of Aaron Judge's wonderful year, and it kind of stinks. It really does stink. But I'm not have to say that at this point I'm not overly surprised. I mean, they've been bad since the end of June. This is all just a culmination of poor effort, poor strategy, and it's all coming to a head now. And fans are now rightfully pissed off.
Well, it's the two-headed monster of why I think this all started to transpire. The way you lost to the Astros and how they just easily handled those games. And if it wasn't for the heroics by Judge, we don't win any of those games against them.
Correct.
Add that with the Stanton injury. Because that really created, it wasn't just one, even though it's one spot in the lineup, that created such a shuffle in the lineup where it left so many holes.
Getting swept by the Mets didn't help either. I don't think it's too good.
No,
when you get swept by your own,
that's not
the team in your own town. It's not great. I don't think the players put too much stock in it, but you don't get any bragging rights, so it's not really going to help your confidence. And then you take on the Red Sox, who can't win a game in the division, and the Red Sox easily handled the Yankees. It doesn't do much for your confidence. I don't think the Yankees are playing with any confidence right now because all the matchups which tend to matter, they're getting their butts handed to them. They're getting their butts handed. Even the Mariners handed their butts to the Yankees after they brought in Castillo. So I can't think of a series that the Yankees have won in a long time. But even the Yankees haven't even won a series against a good team in a long time. And none of this gives me any confidence that even when Stanton comes back, that they're going to suddenly just turn the light bulb on and go back to winning like they were before. There's too many issues with this team. And I want to go back to Benintendi as well, because fans were booing Benintendi yesterday. Mm-hmm. Even some were chanting, "We want Joey Gallo." To any fans who are watching that did that, you guys should be embarrassed because first of all, it has nothing to do with Benintendi not doing his job. His job is as a table setter. He is an on-base guy. I don't know how many times I need to say this, but he is not a middle-of-the-order bat. The Yankees putting him in the middle-of-the-order bat is negating his best qualities. And it's an embarrassing use of a good asset. He is an all-star leadoff hitter. He has never once been an RBI guy. You ask an RBI guy to be a leadoff hitter is incredibly dumb. It just doesn't make sense for, like, I know that the nerds like to use just the numbers to categorize when to put people in a certain position in the lineup, but you also need to open your eyes and need to know how the game works. You don't put leadoff hitters in the 5 or 6 hole. You just do not do it. No. You don't ask a freaking Chuck Knobloch to be a cleanup hitter. You don't put Bernie Williams at the top of the order and then Chuck Knobloch in the cleanup spot. What are you expecting? That's kind of what the Yankees are kind of doing. They're putting a really good leadoff hitter in the middle of the order and expecting him to have middle of the order results. And that is on the Yankees. That has nothing to do with Benintendi, and the fans need to be smart enough to learn that. That is, you need to look at you need to open up a book and learn how baseball works before you start judging how a player is performing. He's not being put in a position to succeed. This is all on the Yankees. So Aaron Boone, your nerds, Fishman, Cashman, who have all constituted this idea, you guys need to smarten up. You really do, because that's just stupid. It really is just stupid. And I'm annoyed watching this because Benintendi led off the game prior, and he did a really good job. He got a double. He was setting the table, and then the Yankees put him back in the 5 hole. And what do you get? Nothing. And he struck out 3 times. Why? Because he's not freaking a middle-of-the-order bat.
No, and you said it yesterday. As soon as LeMahieu was healthy, it was back to the middle.
I knew it.
I mean, it was so scripted, So you can't say, Boone doesn't have the excuse anymore. That it's he doesn't have any excuses. He really doesn't. He can't say that he's not a puppet, because he is a puppet to that book. And the analytical team that they have has got to be the worst in baseball. Because every other team they have their stuff together. I mean, look at Tampa. Tampa is one of the most analytical teams in the sport. They figure it out. They find guys that nobody ever heard of and turn them into all-stars.
Well, our cool host Rob has always said it's not the
Our
cool host Rob has always said it's not the analytics; it's how the Yankees choose to interpret the analytics.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. That's what it all comes down to.
They turn mush into all-stars. We turn all-stars to mush.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good way of putting it.
Every time a player comes over, they'll have all the right numbers that the Yankees are looking for. Fans are screaming for these players. We all were screaming for Benintendi to get brought over. We were screaming for Castillo, for Montas. Castillo didn't make it. Montas did. You can't now turn around and be like, oh, we should have kept Gallo. We should have kept Montgomery. Not that we were screaming to get rid of Montgomery, but Montgomery, like you said, he wasn't going to be a factor into the championship. But we scream for these changes, and then we blame the organization when they don't work.
No, we blame the players itself for it not working instead of looking at the organization. In my opinion, we need to look at the organization. I don't think the organization put these people in the best position to succeed.
Well, that's what it is. It's like, you can't boo the players if the organization's not putting them in to succeed.
Yeah, Joey Gallo's OPS is really good now since going to the Dodgers. What is it that the Dodgers have found with his swing that the Yankees couldn't find? Now, the Yankees have all the same technology as the Dodgers, but what is it that they are missing that the Dodgers found? Because the Dodgers wanted to acquire Joey Gallo, and they felt that he could fix his swing. And it looks like they fixed it. Because the Yankees couldn't do anything. And they had Joey Gallo for a full season's worth of games. And he was the worst player in baseball, and it wasn't close. And he's come back to the Dodgers, and he looks like the old Joey Gallo. What is it that they're finding with a swing that the Yankees aren't finding? So I want the fans to stop buying all of the bullshit that they get fed by the Yes Network, the Yankees network of kind of state media, and look in between the lines. Why are players doing better when they leave the Yankees than when they're at the Yankees? The Yankees should be the pinnacle. The Yankees should have the pinnacle, the best of everything. And they should be getting the best out of people. But for some reason, there's a number of occasions now where the Yankees aren't getting the best out of people. Why is that? Why is it that Benintendi's batting .320 and he was an all-star at the Royals and an excellent player in Boston, and he comes to the Yankees and he strikes out more than Joey Gallo did? And that I feel is on the Yankees, man, because you can't always just keep blaming the player all the time. Oh, he can't handle New York. I think there's something more to it than that. I think there really is something more to it than that.
Maybe it's patience, because they were saying the same thing about Evan Diaz over in Queens. New York ruined him. Look, with a little bit of patience, look what he was able to bounce back to.
Well, that's why I want some patience on Montas. I think Montas is going to come around. I think
he's earned the patience.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up on him. I think he's got great stuff.
Before we do go, I really do want to switch, because we've been complaining about so many of the moves. Let's celebrate one of the moves that has been working out, and that is the call up of Cabrera. And he was able yesterday to get his first major league hit, a nice solid double. His swing looks he looks like he's belonged in the major leagues for years now. He's very focused. He's got a really good at bat. He's got a good glove, and I was really happy to see that. It was a home game when he got his first hit. I always think that makes it a little more special.
First hit of many. He got 2 hits last night.
Yeah.
And both really hard hit. He's got a beautiful swing, and he's got a little bit of moxie about him too. He's got a little bit of balls on He does the little celebration. He's got a personality.
Yep.
He's got the confidence, and he looks like he's very comfortable, and he's got a major league bat. And I hope that the Yankees don't screw him up because they've screwed everybody else up. Don't screw up this guy. This guy's 23. He's got a whole career ahead of him. I want the Yankees to give him every opportunity to succeed. And he looks like he belongs. He really does. And he's exciting. He's an exciting prospect. I've been championing him. I've been following him through his minor league career. I thought that he was the most major league ready bat, and so has proven to this point. So I hope that the Yankees give him every possibility to succeed. But I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for his family. His family were in the stands. They must be very, very excited and proud to see their son doing it at the biggest stage, at the greatest stadium in the world, Yankee Stadium. So I'm really happy for him and his family. So first hit of many.
Yeah, no, I think that the way that like I'm saying, the way he composes himself, he belongs. He's everything that we want from a guy when he first gets called up. Sometimes the first game, not everybody's going to come out of the bat, come out right away. Sometimes it takes a game to get the jitters out, and we saw yesterday. Without the first day jitters, this kid's legit. He is enjoyable to watch. He's got the talent along with a little bit of swagger. Because you can see a lot of these players, they come up, they have a little swagger to them, they got a little personality, but they can't perform. He looks like he's got everything clicking just at the right level. He's not trying to overplay. But he's not so laid back where he looks lazy. I really think he's right in that cusp of what every player that gets called up should look like. He's setting the bar for whoever comes up behind him right now.
I just hope he continues to get an opportunity. He needs to play every day and get better.
Yeah,
but it's a good sign, very good sign.
No, because we also saw what was surprising is he was in the lineup yesterday. They moved, the first game he was playing second base. Yesterday he was playing shortstop. So we're already starting to see his versatility and is able to be moved around the infield. Mm-hmm. I think that's also a plus because that's a big thing in baseball right now. That really doesn't get. We're gonna have to focus on that.
Pretty sure he played third. But it doesn't matter. Played third in his first game.
First game. All right. My mistake, as usual. But, it's one of those, you're starting to see that a lot of these prospects are learning multiple positions. And I think that's a trend in baseball that's only going to be beneficial because it will reduce the need for the infield or the positions don't get stagnant. Stagnant was the word I was reaching for. You don't want to get stagnant where you got the same person in every position every day. You want to be able to move these guys around, keep them loose, especially if they're able to play in multiple positions.
I have no idea. It was word salad there, man. I'll just nod my head and agree.
Yeah. All right. We'll dive into it a little deeper with a better analysis. Because I kind of stumbled a little bit, and hey, it happens. That's what happens when you go on live. There's no editing. But we do want to hope everybody has a good weekend. You have been watching on Northeast Streaming Sports and on YouTube. Make sure you check us out Sunday on our Upward Deck show with Chris and Lynn. They do a phenomenal breakdown. I can only imagine what they're going to be saying about how this team has performed. Just remember, wear your pinstripes, your pride, and play hard.